Hello everybody, welcome to The Tunnel in my channel. Today we're going to talk about what I've learned from growing in the polytunnel for the last year. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a little overwhelming, but it's been very rewarding and very frustrating at the same time. If also you hear noise in the background, that's because there's construction going on across the street from me. They've been building houses, like knocking down the trees and building houses. And I've been trying to film for a while, but it's been hard. It's been hard, so this might not happen. I'm like ready to stop because this is like crazy. So if you like my content, hit the like button, hit the share button, smash that subscribe button, and the bell. That's not a bell, it's a skeleton. And sorry for the noise. So we'll try and make this quick in between all of the chainsaws and dump trucks. So awesome. Okay, really quickly because it's quiet. So you may have remembered the trellis thing I had going on. I was like over there, but it was slanted, and I was like, that's not going to work because I'm growing bush beans, not string beans. Which is what happens when you don't label your stuff, which I tend to do. I tend to just like plant and be like, oh yeah, this is that, blah blah blah, and no, the reality is I just don't do it, or when I do it, it always like goes away, because I use pen and like other stupid stuff. So when you are labeling things, make sure it's a proper label and you have the proper writing utensil that is not going to fade away on you when you water. So what have I learned? Growing cucumbers in here is awful. They are just taking over everything. They're strangling my peppers over here, which are doing great, by the way, because the heat in here, it's just been insane. Especially last week we were in like a little mini heat wave, but the humidity here in central Rhode Island was like you're like swimming through the air, soupy. Not what I asked for summer, but whatever. So we do get the occasional cucumber. We've probably gotten about maybe 10 so far this year, and these seeds came from my in-laws from overseas in Italy. Like they sent them over to my mother-in-law, and she was like, here, grow these. So she's been getting like some of the stuff from the garden as well, like the lettuce, the cucumbers, but they are just taking over everything. But because they need to be pollinated and I just have way too much going on, not all of them have been growing. And though I do leave the flap open in the front so things can get in here, it does get over 100 degrees in here, so if something gets trapped in here, it's gonna die. But for the most part, the pollination process has not been great. So that's a no-go for me. If you are a self-pollinator or that's something you're interested in, it's very easy to do. You look for the male flowers and you rip them off and do a little thing. I just don't do it. So I guess that's on me, right? Sure. See if we can see here. Same thing with the tomatoes. Let me move this around here. Probably should have just done this live or something. So over here you could see that I have a bunch of tomatoes, and again, they're not growing as well. It could be the extreme heat in here. It could be the weather fluctuation now that we're in El Nino versus El Nina. So that's been kind of screwing with the weather a little bit, a lot. Because I just went around to the farms and, even they're hurting. Like they don't have as many tomatoes, which we had to go and buy tomatoes to make our Sunday gravy. And because these have only produced one jar. Last year, I was already like 10 jars deep into canning. I was making pickles. I was still getting cucumbers out of the ears. Like it was just like insane, and that's great. But it's a little overwhelming sometimes, and you're just like, I don't know what to do, and pickles only last so long, depending if you are a pickle lover, you eat them, or, they're only like 3 months in the fridge or whatever. So last year was a really, really great growing year outside, like in the outside garden, before we got this. And so yeah, anything that needs pollinating is not a good idea in here that I've learned. Also, the weather's been awful. But you could probably see, let me just hold this here. I've been doing a lot of container gardening in here as well, like with the romaine lettuce, just to keep that going. Succession growing is really, really important when you are trying to be self-sufficient, whether you live in an apartment or you have a house or a small plot of land, community garden, wherever you do your planting. Succession growing is really, really important. And that's just like, say you have, let me grab this. Say you have this guy right here. You could use a wash bucket too, by the way, from the Dollar Tree. Drill holes on it in the bottom. If you don't have a drill, find a nail and a hammer or something to bang it through. That'll break. That's the old school way of doing that. So I would do like, a row of carrots, a row of radishes. Wait a week, do a row of carrots, do a row of radishes. So they're ready at different times. And also so you don't overwhelm yourself. That's something that I've been learning basically for the last 5 years. I'm a chaotic gardener. I don't have this beautiful YouTube, Instagram garden. I'm a chaotic gardener, and half the time I don't know what I'm doing. So that's why I do this, because I don't know what I'm doing, and there's probably people out there that they don't know what they're doing. And I don't always want to see that perfection. I want to see like what screwed up in your garden, like what didn't grow, like I accidentally fertilized something with the wrong fertilizer, and how did it come out, things like that. But I also do want to see those established people, because I've learned so much from them. And that's how I've become successful at what I've been doing. I follow a bunch of people on YouTube, Instagram. I love books. Books are really important to me, because I love that physical media, So I have a ton of books on herbs, herbalist stuff, essential oils, and that's kind of how I keep myself educated, because education really is key, but I feel like self-education is where it's at. Learning from people, community, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, let's get moving, because I am very warm in here. Okay. Let's see. Let's switch this around here. All right, no, we're going to have to flip it, and I don't know how to do that, so we'll be back. All right, we are back, because I don't like editing. What you see is what you get. All right, so you can see here that the tomato plants really are they're starting to produce, but they're so overwhelmed in here, and I've been trimming things like this. I would trim this back if I wasn't trying to, string it up. Let's see, like this, I would cut this off, trim it back. I mean, I did this a few days ago, and you could already see, oh, there we go. You could already see like how insane this is. It's like a jungle in here of cucumbers and tomatoes. And then the cucumbers, because they're not getting pollinated or whatever, they do this, which, it is what it is. It's a learning experience, right? When your cucumbers are doing that, it is extreme heat and inconsistent watering. And because Polytunnel gets over 100 degrees in the summer, this is probably not a good idea. My basil, however, in here has been thriving. Absolutely thriving. Let's scoot on over here. I mean, I've been drying basil and freezing it. Probably shouldn't have put some in the back. That's the other thing too. When you are setting up something like this, let me move a little further back so you can see. When you're setting up something like this, maybe draw it out. You know, if things are going to grow big like this, like monsters, maybe not put the basil in the back so you can't really get to it. And you should be fine if you're doing raised beds. Now, my fall and spring garden, I never have a problem with because it just, everything, it doesn't get crazy like this. Like, it doesn't turn into monsters. Like, this is a monster plant. This is a monster pepper plant, which we're growing jalapenos in here and a row of peppers outside as well. So I would do these bush beans outside. I would probably still do these in here, but maybe, yeah, I'd still do those in here. They don't take up a lot of room. Plus they give shade for all of my greens. Now this is a part of my succession growing. The other thing that I'm learning is seed saving, and that's been really hard. Oh, hello, little friend. My chamomile. Chamomile's been coming in okay in this batch, but the other one I have, not so great. And I'm not really sure why. So, there's that. Strawberries were doing good, but I think I need to thin them back and, you know, chop back the runners and things like that. So, would I do this again? No, absolutely not. I would not grow this stuff in here. Again, absolutely not. It's been a nightmare. And anyone else out there having trouble with their tomatoes? Are they growing? Because mine are just not. Some parsley. Herbs, I'm great. Hence the name Herbalicious. Like, well, I just bought this, but I grew this. I got some sage growing. I got some sage seeds in there that I just pulled from the garden out there. Hopefully some dill. And I think this is also more parsley. We got another cucumber plant. This guy is going outside. So that's what I've learned from at least planting. Now, hello, Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones will tell you that it has not been an easy ride because this guy has been all over the yard with the wind. Huh. Mr. Bones will also tell you that you really need to do your research when you're buying a polytunnel, which we thought we did. This thing has ripped more times than I can count on my hands and my toes, because I only got 10 toes, 10 fingers. That was lame. I know, whatever. And to probably build up a little, like, when you establish it and build the frame and everything like that, maybe build up a little bit more reinforcements. Placement is also really important. This may have not been the best place in the yard. It's kind of the highest point. We get heavy winds up here. We get nor'easters. We get the fragments from the storms down south. So you really got to make sure whatever you're growing in is secure. If you are growing on a patio, bring that stuff closer to the house. Secure all your plants. Secure everything, because it was a nightmare. If you look back at some of my previous videos, I'm like filming in the middle of the storm, like, it just ripped off, you know, because January, this just like ripped right off. Like, I watched it just go whoosh. So I'm out here at like 6 o'clock in the morning, just like trying to go against the wind, trying to get the cover on. Ooh, I'm sweating. And that was quite the experience. So it ripped a lot, specifically right over here. Yeah, see that? So a staple gun and some plastic and some Gorilla Glue tape is what you got to do to fix it, right? And then we're switching this out to more cinder blocks. But I've seen other people do like boards and things like that. And To be honest with you, I'm just really inexperienced. It is what it is, right? That's why we do the things that we do. That's the summer garden, but I don't want to go over there because every time I go over to that side of the yard, I have this neighbor that just like has to, you know, oh, what you doing? Oh, you do what you ought to do. And it's just, it's a little, he's nice, but it's a little invasive. Like how do you tell someone they're too nice? Like, a little privacy, please. So that's been a little rough. There's been a lot of construction. You can hear it in the background, and it's been hot and rainy too. So the main problem that I've learned in this is the extreme heat and the lack of pollination that things get. So that's something that try to keep in mind too. You know, to be more self-sufficient. You know, again, that's where the research comes in. You know, I Google relentlessly, like, problems. I don't know, because sometimes the books don't have it, and I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. It's so hot in here. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing something like this unless you're more experienced than I am and you know what you're really doing. Though we have gotten really, really good, you know, lettuce, like all the greens have been doing really good. The carrots did really good right up until the beginning of July, and that's the tough part. Is July is always the toughest month I've noticed across the entire United States, and how do you combat that, right? You know, a lot of people are going through droughts and stuff like that, and you know, at least over here we're having the opposite problem. Is there was a little bit of a drought last year. There was a huge drought here in Rhode Island, and we have a well, so we have to keep track of that. You know, things like lettuce and carrots and radishes don't do as well, I think, unless you have a really good setup outside. Like, you can do containers, like I'm going to do some in containers, but in here, like, they were just struggling, you know, because it just was really, really warm. And that's what I learned mostly. It's the summer stuff, like, you know, this is a tropical environment, so maybe I should just go tropical things in here in the summer. And that's my video for today. Raw, real, crazy, sweaty, fun times. Again, if you like this video, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit the bell. If you have been a regular subscriber, or regular, whatever, thank you very much to everyone who's been watching and commenting and supporting. I always encourage any like tips and tricks or whatever down below, not just for me, but for everybody else. And if you're new here, hi. Welcome to a chaotic page where I do my gardening. I film my dog and other things too. So, you know, more to come. I'm going to go inside right now and go film a canning video for tomatoes that my fiance is doing that portion of it. And then I'm going to be back out here doing some planting because I have a whole slew of things that I need to do for Zone 6B planting, which I kind of missed the window in some things since last week was a heat wave, and I just don't do well in the heat and humidity. Heat and humidity. Can't do it. Heat, fine. Humidity, if it's cool. Cool. So that's that. Again, I want to thank you so much for your support and following, and have a great day. Okay, bye.